Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Friedman Financial, the home for financial advice in a language you can understand. Created by Mark Friedman of Friedman Financial, he and his team of certified financial planner professionals will discuss timely topics that help individuals and families make smart financial decisions. And now, get ready for this week's edition of Dollars and Cents with Friedman Financial.
Welcome back to another edition of Dollars and Cents with Friedman Financial. My name is Mark Friedman.
And I'm Christian Karcher.
And we're here to provide you with some financial advice in a language you can understand. We're dressed kind of casually today.
That's right.
Christian, yeah, we just kind of taking it easy today. It was a slow day in the office, but we have to be committed to doing our podcasts.
That's right. And here we are.
And here we are. And we are getting ready, gearing up for a trip to San Diego, aren't we?
That's right. We're all three of us, you, me, and Marion, are on the way out to San Diego shortly.
Yeah, all on different planes too, right?
That's right. That's important, just in case, you experience a little bit too much turbulence.
Yes.
There'll at least be two of us left.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same plane going out, but I think we're all on the same plane, all on different planes going out, but all on the same plane going back, I think.
That's right. So well, we really hope for that one.
We're not worried about flying west to east. It's the east to west thing that's a little,
Yeah, you never know.
But we're going out there. It's the LPL Annual Focus Conference. They call it the National Conference. There'll be 10 to 15,000 people at the San Diego Convention Center. Lots of great information. We've got a whole lineup of things that we want to learn about and talk about. But interesting, one of the keynote speakers, the guy's name is Jesse Cole. Do you know who that is?
Is this the banana ball guy?
It is the banana ball guy. The guy in the yellow tux, the hat, the whole thing. And he is one of the keynote speakers at the event to talk about this phenomenon that he has created with the Savannah Bananas and Banana Ball.
That's right.
You've been to a game, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
I thought you went.
I have applied for tickets every time they've come to town and have never won the lottery.
Wait. You have to apply for tickets?
Yeah, they have a wait list. You go, you put your name in. When the tickets become available, they send out emails to only the select few because they were so oversubscribed. They completely filled out Fenway Stadium, and they probably could fill out Gillette if they really
understand.
tried.
They are coming to Gillette, I guess. There's a game going on in Gillette later this fall, I guess. I heard somebody said they were going. If you've never seen it, it's quite the experience. Now, also added to that, the thrill of the week, our final closing entertainment is Carrie Underwood. So she'll be out, it's quite the thing. I mean, I know you're not all that excited about it. But
so they've had better, but,
They have. We had, last year it was Maroon 5.
That's right. And the year before,
Lionel Richie,
which was fabulous.
And I'll tell you, of the three, Lionel Richie was great.
He was the best.
Maroon 5 was just But at any rate, we thought we'd share with you a little story today that pops up time and time again with clients and prospects that come walking in the door. We always talk about the importance of emergency funds, of financial planning, and making sure that you are reducing debt and managing life appropriately. Look, there's some debts that are important. A mortgage, for instance. I mean, that's good debt. And then there's bad debt. And it amazes me how time and time again, people begin to continue to build credit card debt. And despite having the resources to pay it off, they don't. Why is that, Christian?
I'm not exactly sure why. And it's, there's one thing, it's building up credit card debt because your income is down, your expenses are up, and you're trying to get that in line. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different thing when you have money at the bank. Maybe you're retired, you have retirement accounts you can and do pull from, but you still, for whatever reason, have a couple $1,000s on a credit card that you just feel like, I don't really want to pay it off. I'm just going to leave it on the card. And we see that way more than you would anticipate with people who have made great financial decisions, have saved wonderfully throughout their lives, have grown, have made smart financial decisions, but for whatever reason, they're holding on to that credit card.
Yeah, I mean, we had a situation with a client that came in, and he had $10,000 in credit cards. And a few years ago, he had built up $10,000, and we told him to pay off the credit cards. And he did. He paid them off. And then he built them back up again. And I said, why? He had $80,000 sitting in the bank and $10,000 in credit card. He said, Mark, if I pay off the credit card, then I'll only have $70,000 in the bank. And I'm thinking, okay, but assuming you've got $10,000, if the interest rate is 10%, and it's probably higher than that, that's $1,000 in interest for the year, right?
That's $1,000 of interest for the year. Absolutely.
And you're willing to pay that an extra $1,000 when the $80,000 that's sitting in the bank is probably earning less than 1%, less than $800. But they're not willing to get rid of the credit. It just doesn't make sense.
The numbers on a spreadsheet certainly don't make sense. It is wholly an emotional decision. Sometimes people will see, their bank accounts and they'll get a new high watermark and they say, I can't even imagine having my bank accounts get below 50,000 or 60,000. But then as they build up that cash, they see a new high watermark and it keeps going up. And all of a sudden you find people who have, call it $100,000 in the bank, and they're terrified of spending a penny below that, even if it is to pay off high interest credit card debt.
But there's all sorts of rationales around it. Sometimes it is, well, Mark, I have to keep a certain amount of money so I can have free checking, or so that I can have free ATM, or can I have free this or free that or whatever. But you're paying $1,000. How much would it cost if you weren't getting free checking or having to use your ATM, which people barely use these days? When's the last time you went to an ATM to get cash?
Oh, I went this last weekend, but we don't have to ask.
Okay, but people are going less and less often because everything is tap, 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 or slide your card, right?
That's right, in most cases.
And I am just blown away. One of the other things is this client said to me, so, well, wouldn't it make more sense if I took some of that $80,000 and used it to pay down my mortgage? What do you think about that, Christian?
Well, again, if we look at the spreadsheet,
and his mortgage was 3%, by the way.
Right, and if we look at the spreadsheet, it's why. So you're pulling money out of the bank account to pay down a 3% mortgage, but you're continuing to maintain a 15 to 20% credit card. The numbers just don't add up. It's clearly something in the way that they've thought about all of these pieces in their minds over probably decades. This is how they've always done it, and so they're going to continue to work in that way.
Yeah, and many people rationalize the whole credit card and maintaining the balance because of the points they're going to get. Now, yes, you get points when you make a purchase, actually when you pay off the purchase that you made, not when you place the purchase, when you actually pay down that amount. The amount that you write to the credit card company, that's the points that you're really getting. But this person, one of the people we talked to, thought that if he carried a balance, he was getting cumulative points.
Which is certainly not the case.
Not the case.
You do not get extra points for paying the interest on your loan. In fact, you're simply subsidizing everyone else's points who pay off their credit card on a monthly basis.
You know, I remember a client that came in, it's got to be a good 20 years or so now. It was long before you were here. And he had 15 credit cards. And this was the time when you could get 0% credit cards. And he maintained his mortgage. He paid off his mortgage with his credit cards and maintained 0% cards and paid those down. He thought he was getting a better deal. But ultimately, it caught up to him because no one was willing to extend him the next one. And it buried him. But he was insistent that this was the game to play. Look, there are ways that you can beat the system. I'm sure there are ways to skirt a lot of things. But when we look at this from a perspective of financial planning, we're just trying to put some logic behind the numbers. And the logic around paying off credit cards makes all the sense in the world.
Right. I would say that if there's one foundational principle of personal finance, it's the power of compounding interest. And you want that power of compounding interest working for you and not against you.
Right.
A credit card is compounding interest working against you. That, if you leave it for a long period of time, is going to kill you. If you have instead the money working for you, compounding in an investment or even in interest-bearing accounts, now that's working for you. So shifting dollars from working against you to working for you, that's the name of the game, regardless of anything else going on.
And you know, one of the other things that I've learned in this business is that there are lots of calculations that can be done on a spreadsheet that might say this makes the most sense. When it comes to credit cards, paying off those credit cards, I think the numbers speak volumes. But there are other times when people might say, well, I want to pay off my mortgage, yet the numbers might say it doesn't make sense to pay off your mortgage. Maybe you should keep the money invested. And you can look at the spreadsheet all you want, but if paying off your mortgage makes you feel better, allows you to sleep at night, that's not such a bad thing. And maybe you sacrifice a little bit of performance on your investment accounts if it means paying off your mortgage, if you have the resources and it would make you feel better. That's one of the cool things about financial planning. In financial planning, we don't live in the black or the white. We live in the gray all the time. Financial planning is a fluid activity, and it requires change over time. It requires you to rethink what your goals are, rethink your overall financial situation as it changes over time. And as financial planners, certified financial planner professionals, that's our job, is to keep our eye on the ball, to keep your eye on your stuff so that you continue to make smart financial decisions as your situation changes. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
And that's what we call
Financial advice in a language you can understand.
See, he even knows the tagline now, too. If now's the time for you to get serious about your financial planning or investment management needs, we hope you'll give us a call. 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. Or visit us on the web, friedmanfinancial.com. That's Friedman.
2 E's and a D.
Financial.com. Go to the bottom of any page, put in your name and your email address, and you'll get our free weekly newsletter called Planning Pointers. It lands in your mailbox. Inbox, not mailbox at the end of the street, your inbox every Friday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back again, maybe live from San Diego. I'm hoping to do some podcasts there.
That's right. We'll hopefully have some cool backdrops, some cool things to show, and some great things to talk
And
about.
maybe we can bring in the banana guy ball.
Oh.
The banana guy ball?
Banana ball guy.
Yeah, we'll bring him, perhaps. We'll see. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
During today's episode of Dollars and Cents with Friedman Financial, your host may have discussed specific financial planning and investment ideas that are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Please remember that investing involves risk and may include loss of principal. Always consult a certified financial planner professional, qualified attorney, or tax advisor prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.